All too often you see brilliant videos where people have travelled to amazing locations only to end up with a video that's ruined by jerky and jumpy movement. It's ugly, it's pointless and it's easily fixed, and that is what I'm talking about today. Hello, I'm Ian and I play with drones, and today I'm playing with the DJI Mini 2, which still remains one of the most amazing drones I think for travelling and for filming 4K high definition video from above. But all too often I find these clips are ruined by sudden clumsy turns and jumps that are caused by the camera gimbal moving up and down too fast or the drone itself turning too quickly. These are the two biggest causes of bad video, so smoothing these movements down is what I want to focus on today. So the up and down movement of the gimbal is called pitch, and whilst the drone will alter this automatically to compensate whilst the drone's moving about whilst flying, you of course are also adjusting this when you move the rear wheel on the back of the remote when you're pitching from the horizon down to something further below. This is one of the elements that I want to try and smooth out, and the other is the left to right movement of the drone itself. This is known as yaw, and this is the spinning action that you get when you move the left stick on the remote control left to right, and this is probably the single biggest cause of bad video, and this is the other element that I want to try and work on smoothing out today. Now of course we have the three flight modes. You've got Cine, Smooth, Normal and Sports, which you select on the front of the remote control. These flight modes don't only just control how fast the drone is flying, they also affect how fast these pitch and yaw movements happen. Sports mode is obviously the fastest flight mode, and correspondingly it has the fastest control for pitching and rotating. Conversely, Cine mode is the slowest flight mode, and again the mode also slows down the pitch and the yaw speed, smoothing things out nicely. For some that actually may be enough, but it's also very, very easy to adjust these settings further and make things even smoother. Now the other day when it was nice and sunny, there I was with Ted. All you've got to do, you can see here, you tap the three dots top right to open up the main settings. Go across to Control and scroll down to Advanced Gimbal Settings. Now you can see how it opens up with a screen with 4 slider settings: pitch speed, pitch smoothness, yaw rotation speed and yaw smoothness. These are the 4 controls that have got the greatest impact on smoothing things out for you, and getting these right will absolutely transform your flying. Before I go through each one of these, also note if you scroll down you're going to see them repeated, as you actually have 3 versions of these settings, one for each of the flight modes. And this means you can actually play around and adjust these settings and have different values for each of your flight modes, which I think makes things even better. Anyway, look, first off, let's start with the pitch speed. This is literally how fast the camera is going to pitch up and down when you move that scroll wheel on the back of the remote control. Now remember, the wheel has got proportional control, meaning a slight turn of the wheel will result in a slow speed. But of course you do need a bit of a delicate old touch to make use of that, and so it's easier, I think, to adjust the overall max pitch speed setting here. So the scale is in degrees per second, and if I take it right up to its maximum value, you can see that when you move the gimbal wheel on full, you get this sharp pitch up and down, absolutely enough to ruin any video. Let's take the slider right down to the other extreme. Then you can end up with a movement that's so slow you'll probably end up running out of battery by the time you get there, to be honest. So look, obviously what you want to do is have a bit of a play about. I tend to use a pitch speed at the lower end of the scale, around 6 to 8 degrees per second, which is fast enough to change pitch nicely, but slow enough to keep things smooth. But this is where the second setting comes in. Pitch smoothness is another really useful setting which adjusts how fast or slow the pitch movement starts and stops. It's literally like a buffer to smooth out the movement at each end. And I can show you again here. If I take the buffer right down to 0, when I jump out and start pitching the camera on full wheel lock, you can see the pitch starts immediately. And when I let go of the wheel, the movement stops dead. Now let's take that value right up to the other extreme, maximum value of 30. And now when I start pitching, you can see how the movement gradually starts moving. And when I let go of the wheel, how it gradually slows down before finally stopping. So again, a really useful setting, and I tend to find a higher smoothness setting of around 25 works best for me, keeping things nice and smooth, but not continuing the pitch movement too much after I let go of the wheel. So that's the up and down movement of the gimbal sorted. The other two settings control the rotational yaw of the drone itself, literally how fast it spins when you move that left stick left or right to change direction. The yaw settings work in much the same way. When you take the yaw speed right up to its maximum value, you can see how it makes the drone spin round extremely quickly. Again, guaranteed to ruin any video that you're filming. So let's take it right the way down to say around 20 degrees per second. And that's pretty much what I find works best for me, to be honest. And here you can see now when I'm on full stick, the turn is now much slower. Again, remember the sticks, like the wheel, have got proportional control. So if you only have a light touch on the stick, you will have an even slower turn. So whilst a light touch does help, again, you can make things even smoother by adjusting the yaw smoothness, which just as before adjusts how fast or slow the movement starts and stops. If you take the smoothness up to its maximum setting, you end up with this very gradual start and a very gradual slow down when you finally stop. So for me, I tend to find a higher yaw smoothness is best. Again, I leave it generally around 25. And that pretty much lets me pitch and rotate just about right. Always using very soft touches, of course, on the wheel and sticks, but it lets you combine both turns and pitches at the same time to create really super smooth dynamic movement for your video. And you can see here, as I'm flying around, you can alter the pitch and you can turn at the same time, and you get these fantastic dynamic shots. So look, there you know what each of the four settings does. You can then work out how you want to set them for each of the different 3 flight modes. Settings that I've been working through so far, pretty much what I use on normal mode. It allows me to carry on filming without having to jump down into Cine mode. You will probably want faster settings in sports mode, especially if you're hooning around trying to get a really fast dynamic shot. But again, look, have a play, work out exactly what works best for you with your style of flying and filming. Now I should add, you also have the convenience of the quick shots on the Mini 2, which gives you perfectly pre-programmed movement around whatever subject it is you're filming. Now look, that is a video for another day. But for me, being able to adjust these pitch and yaw manual movement settings will often mean you don't actually need to set up a quick shot at all. You can actually film the shot manually, giving you way more freedom to get the type of shot that you're after. Anyway, look, there you go. 4 of the simplest but most powerful settings that you can adjust to smooth things out when you're flying. Have a play, work out what is best for you, and have fun filming. Look, as ever, if you like this, do give me a little thumbs up, help this video get recommended. Feel free to link this video or share it to anyone you know that's got the Mini 2. And of course, hit that sub, ding that dong, get notified each time I put something out. But look, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, I hope you're staying safe and sane. And until next time, have fun, happy flying.